This is the FATT Show. I'm D.
I'm Kevin.
And today we are talking about the big game coming up on Sunday.
Big game.
Yeah, we've got Tom Brady and the New England Patriots facing the Atlanta Falcons and Matt Ryan, and in a game that is looking to be a shootout by all estimates. The over is 58.5 for this game, which is the highest in NFL history.
Okay.
For the big game. And so, what are your feelings about, first of all, the high-powered offenses, and which team might be able to stop the other one with their defense?
Well, I think the thing is that when we start with Atlanta, I think the thing is I had to be a believer of Matt Ryan.
I'm with you.
This was a guy.
We doubted him for sure.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
This was a guy that had a lot of inconsistencies in regards to games in the past, divisional playoff games.
Well, great quarterback through the regular season, and then some pretty big collapses in the postseason. So we just didn't quite trust him, even though that team has been pretty good all year.
Yeah, and then facing a Green Bay team, you kind of saw that. Okay, Matt Ryan, who's been inconsistent, and then you have Aaron Rodgers,
Who was Aaron Rodgers, and
State Farm.
Actually, was pretty magical in that game against the Cowboys. Just if it wasn't for a couple of mental mistakes by the Cowboys, I mean, Green Bay would have lost that game. But he just was magical. I mean, there's no other way to really put it. I mean,
So you look at the offense, and then you have a guy. You did talk about this about Julio Jones, a target that this guy Matt Ryan can go to, and a balanced attack of that of Freeman on the ground.
Yeah.
So you have that balanced attack that Matt Ryan has. And so I think, for me, Matt Ryan had to go through the growing pains of the NFL as an older player, because he's not a youngin', he's a little older, and had to go through those times of basically inconsistencies and things of where he making the wrong read or making a play difficult.
Well, and then you do mention the running game. That balanced attack helps with spreading things out a little bit, because other games, other seasons in past history, you might have had defenses that are focused in on Matt Ryan, and so you can see that there will be certain times when Matt Ryan is not able to perform the way you would want him to because you've got defenses that are keying in on him, and now they can't completely key in on Matt Ryan because you've got that running game, you've got a couple of backs in there that can catch passes out of the backfield or whatnot, and a
good offensive line.
A great offensive line.
A really good offensive line.
Solid offensive line.
That if you have a ground game like Freeman that's able to run through and scurry through that first tier and second tier of that defense, that's something to say that you have that protection that Matt Ryan's going to need to be able to get the ball to Julio Jones and the receivers.
Well, and both with Matt Ryan and Julio Jones playing the way they are, I mean, you got Matt Ryan that's throwing over 700 yards.
Wow.
In the last couple of games, and really dominating both Green Bay and Seattle in the last couple of games, and virtually no interceptions to speak of.
In which in the past we saw some of that.
We did.
Right.
So you've got a team in the Atlanta Falcons that are, I would say first and foremost with them entering this game, they are at virtually full strength.
Right.
And I think that's a key to getting to when you're playing the New England Patriots. You've got to be, you got to have a full complement. You got to be, full strength, ready to go, because you've got, and we're going to talk about Tom Brady and how he gets the ball out quick here in a minute, and some of the things that he does well. But some of the things that you might, kind of key in on a little bit is, for the Falcons and their defense, there are some opportunities there for New England. You've got, we talked about this earlier about the zone read, the pass when they're in a passing situation and they're in a zone, they do tend to give up some big plays on occasion.
We saw that against Green Bay. There were some plays given up in that pass zone read scheme on the defense when they were able to do that.
Well, that and you have in that game you got an Aaron Rodgers that is he moves almost every play, and he's so far from what we've seen from Aaron Rodgers, he's the best on the move.
A guy that basically, if the pocket breaks down, he's able to scurry himself outside of the pocket and make a play down the
and
field
has
or
a
run.
higher passer rating
Right.
when he does. That's kind of who he is. And you have a quarterback in Tom Brady that doesn't quite move like that.
He's not a running quarterback. He's a quarterback that basically, when watching what he was able to do against the Steelers, it was a 1-1000, 2-1000, 3. The ball is out. It's either out to Edelman, it's out to his receivers, Deion Lewis. It's out to somebody to make a play. And if the pocket does break down, he pretty much is not going to be a person that's going to scurry outside the pocket and run with the ball.
Well, and what I've seen from him is, with Tom Brady, basically he's getting those passes out very quickly. Even like on first and second down, you've got the hike of the ball, and then he looks and he throws. I mean, it's that quick. It's within a second and a half, and it's out of his hands. And that's I think the key for Tom Brady and the Patriots. This is going to be for him to get the ball out quickly, because we know that what Atlanta's going to have to do, they have to get to Tom Brady. If you're going to beat them, you're going to have to get to him.
It's a must. I mean, you think about a defense that's able to put pressure on any quarterback. I mean, you could have a Hall of Fame quarterback, but if that quarterback does not have the time to be able to throw the ball and remember, a quarterback has his progression reads. It's going from right to left or left to right, trying to find that receiver to make a play. So if he doesn't have the time to be able to do that, he starts making kind of decisions that are not within the play, or trying to find a way to scurry out. But then there's, again, the second tier linebacker spying on him. So again, it's that thing of where as Atlanta's defense, they have to be able to look at the gaps of the offense to see what gaps they can attack, because they do. Tom Brady does have a running back in LeGarrette Blount who can pound, that defense. But again, if they're able to shoot those gaps, create problems, and go on the outside to flush Tom Brady out to those linemen, you have a little bit of a problem.
Well, and you've seen this in the past with Tom Brady. With regards to the Giants in past Super Bowls. And I'm picking them out in particular because they were able to get to him. You had some fantastic defensive fronts in both of those Super Bowls that they won. Michael Strahan. Of course.
Pierre-Paul.
Yeah, you've got a lot of great, and that's one of their strengths on that Giants defense, and it has been in the past in any case. But we are looking here at if that's the way to get to the Patriots, you know that they are going to be gunning for Tom Brady.
I think the thing I think the key is here. Atlanta's defense, when you're talking about the linebackers and you're talking about the defensive backs, if they're able to, because if you notice in the game, when you watch that film with how they were able to play Pittsburgh, Edelman was able to run any route he could. As a defensive back, you have to be able to. Now, you're man-to-man coverage, and you're in a situation where it's a bump and run, and you can only bump them for less than 5 yards. You can't bump them after the play. But if you have a defensive back, a spy defensive back, or a free safety, strong safety, somebody who's able to come up and realize that Brady's doing a 1-1000, 2-1000, 3-step drop, and finding Edelman or finding somebody as a quick strike, quick play. If there's a way the defensive back can kind of hide themselves, scheme themselves to where they can take that away of him getting comfortable on a route like that, that will bode well for Atlanta.
Well, and Tom Brady, you've got this quick pass out. It's so basically a running play, because what you're doing is you're saying, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm okay with getting 3 yards here, or 4 yards. My goal is to get it out of my hands quickly. You're looking at frustrating the defense, so you want to get it out. They can't reach Tom Brady in a second and a half. You need that 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds to get to Tom Brady, and because of that, you're going to see him dump that ball out really quickly to one of those receivers. You're talking about Edelman. You're talking about maybe out of the backfield. LeGarrette Blount, for one thing, he's not a pass-catching running back. He's not known for that. Not really known for that. So he's got to get it to one of his receivers. quickly, and it's almost the same as a running play. And the key to that is you are also saving LeGarrette Blount. Because what you really want to do is you want to wear that other defense down.
It's really a quick strike, run the ball. Quick strike, run the ball.
Or a quick strike, pass for 25 yards. We saw that in the last game.
Sure.
So you saw where he did a quick strike, next play, quick strike, and then he asked the offensive line to buy him another second and a half.
Yeah.
Because you need that extra time to set up for that long. You got to get the receiver down the field, to that 20, 25-yard line to get that big play.
And even when it was a situation where a flea flicker play,
we
saw that against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And so you draw in the defense and you're able to pass the ball back to Tom Brady to be able to make a play on a defense. I do want to talk about something that I think some may miss here in regards to the missing in action Gronkowski.
Rob Gronkowski, yeah.
Rob Gronkowski, where him as a tight end, 6'7", this guy is a missing piece, missing link to really, if you think about the years that the New England Patriots were able to win Super Bowls. But I think that's something a lot of people aren't really talking about because he's been missing in action for quite some time.
A few weeks now, yeah.
But you talk about, I believe, that New England has actually gotten better. Having to get better without Gronkowski. Because without Gronk, they have had to go to other places, other players. Other players had to step up.
And that's the key is you got players, and it's a plug-and-play system. We talked about this before with the New England Patriots. You basically we could put you as a tight end, and you could probably catch 3 or 4 balls from Tom Brady.
Exactly.
So this is a plug-and-play system, and it's all about the system. It's not really necessarily about the player. But the one thing about Rob Gronkowski that's different than others is that he attracts more attention than most people do. So most of the time with him, we talked about this, where you're going to have to double him, leaving one-on-one for the rest of them. And that's where I think we're missing in these playoffs is you don't have that attention drawn out to one person. You're kind of spreading it out, which is why I think you see him getting the ball out a lot quicker because I think they're trying to cover up their deficiencies.
Yeah, and that is a deficiency. I think the thing is, too, when you talked about commanding 2 defensive backs or a linebacker to drop back in that area, needing those 2 backs to be able to cover, here was the thing that made Rob Gronkowski so good, was the YAC, the yards after catch, where he was able to get the ball.
Well, he's a big guy.
He's a big guy. So if he has one defensive back on him, exactly, they're not tackling him.
One person can't take him down.
No.
I mean, it's like LeGarrette Blount. I mean, you've got a big guy, running back. It's going to take, and you mentioned this in the other game where you saw 8 guys that are trying to bring this guy down. I mean, these are big guys, muscular guys, and it takes more than just that one person. But you see that, and this is where Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, they're at their best when they can cover up any deficiencies that they have, and they can exploit something that you have. And I think, and not to mention that we talked about one of, I think, Bill Belichick's best assets, which is taking something that you value in your defense or offense and taking it away from you. And I think that's, if you are really good at passing, like I fully expect Bill Belichick to have a game plan for Julio Jones. I mean, if he's pretty much, in my mind, if I was Bill Belichick, I do not want Julio Jones to beat me. Everybody else, if they beat the New England Patriots, it will not be because of Julio Jones. And if I am Bill Belichick, I am game planning almost specifically against Julio Jones.
Yeah, and you may think about this is that, Julio Jones is not Gronkowski, but he is a player that demands a spy backup DB or defensive back to be there to keep his eye on. That may be something that, again, Matt Ryan is able to exploit. When you think about progression reads, if he's able to look off and actually look away from Julio Jones, and actually that defensive back is going, he's going to pass over here, Matt Ryan is able to see Julio Jones possibly seeing that defensive back try to leak over. that's the time to hit Julio
and
Jones.
that's
So you have that
also
time.
where, it's really nice to have that second receiver in Mohamed Sanu, because if you are taking away their best weapon in Julio Jones, then you've got a very reliable asset in Mohamed Sanu. So
Right.
take away Julio. I fully expect, in fact, I fully expect often for Julio Jones to be a decoy in this game.
Right.
Because, again, this is a chess match. You've got.
I like the fact that you use that. I
chess
like the
match.
fact. I was thinking that when I thought Belichick, pawns, rooks, kings, queens. You take.
Yep.
It's not the pawns. It's actually the rooks, the kings, and queens that are really, if you can really take them away, and that's something that Belichick looks at.
Yeah, and they will. And so.